I started, my first public art project was actually with City of Surrey. With Leanne Davidson reached out to me and walked me through it's at the City Hall in the boardroom, paddling through the waves of change. It's a design of a canoe, and there's salmon, a male and female salmon on the canoe, and then there's 3 paddles that are up. So that was my first public art, and I learned a lot from Leanne actually through that process, because I had never really done anything in public art. The next thing was the Cacate, it's called Returning to the River, that I worked with my husband on. Again, that was something completely different. It was recycled steel, powder coated red, and then installed onto concrete, which was made to look like one of my cedar baskets, like a cedar weaving. So we learned again more from that project, and then I had done a few things on my own, as well as my husband has done some project on his own. But this project here was, I was mentioning too that it didn't start out to be this powder coated aluminum. It was going to be stamped concrete. So I had to go through the stages of what was more, I guess, cost efficient, I guess you could say. I've done a couple of things in Langley, the Langley, township of Langley, and then now over in city of Maple Ridge. So I'm hoping to continue that we can keep marking Kwantlen's territory and bring to the forefront the land again, whose land that people need to know, the land that they're living on, and just like a learning opportunity for them, and to share some of the history and the connection to the land. What's important to consider when working in public art? So I've been fortunate that the areas that my public art is in now is within Kwantlen territory. I think that's number one, is protocol, like to make sure I'm representing in my territory, and that's why I mentioned that this is shared territory with the bridge, with Semiahmoo and Catesy. So I think that's number one, is to be mindful of your territory. Talking about shared territories, and it was my husband that actually pointed out the designs on the bridge. Catesy's logo for their nation is salmon, and Semiahmoo's logo is the eagle. And I didn't really think of that when I was designing the bridge. This is just the design that came to me, so I thought that was really interesting that my husband pointed that out to me. He was like, hey, yeah, you've included them in the design. So, but yeah, I think knowing whose territory you're in, and respecting the nation, that each nation that's involved. I hope to be able to continue doing more public art, and hopefully just sharing who we are. And I'm really proud of my nation. We've grown a lot over the past. My daughter's 21, and that was really when Kwantlen started reconnecting with our heritage, with our culture, and I was part of that. And so I'm really proud of how far we've come. And we still have lots to learn and to share with the next generation. So that's really, I want the next generations to see my work and feel that they have the ability to do the same if they want to get into art, that the opportunities there, hopefully for them as well. And I hope that's what my art shows, that we can work towards these things for them in the future. The advice, so my daughter's 21. She's also an awesome artist, and the one thing is to just keep practicing. Like something you might think that nobody will like is actually probably the one thing that everybody likes, because we're our own worst critic. And I think just to do what you want to do, paint what you want to paint, draw it in your own way. I know that there's that's the big concern with people, is they feel like they're not good enough or they're not qualified. My best friends from would love to tell you that I couldn't draw a stick figure when we were going to school. So, but when I started taking painting with Barbara Bolt at the original the Barbara Bolt Original Art Studio, and when I started taking lessons from Derek Wilson, it was just practice over and over. I was just thinking about my son. I guess because he was, growing up, he just knew me as an artist. And we were at his grandmother's, my husband's mom passed away last year, and we were going through her things and found one of my old, or must have been like 2001, 2002, one of my old carvings, like a pendant that I made for her. And it's horrible. It was I've got a picture of it. And I showed my son, I go, do you see this? Who do you think did this? And he was like, I don't know. And he was like, so like, ugh, it's horrible. I said, it's mine. And he was like, what? No, it isn't. And I'm like, yes, that's mine. And he's like, no, it isn't. And he flipped it over. There's my initials, PA. And he was like, how did this happen? I said, well, we all have to start somewhere. Like, obviously, I wasn't very good at carving when I first started. And if you compare it to something that I do now, that's like 20 years of carving, right? So, we have to think that we're not all perfect when we start out, but it's the dedication and the hours and practice.